My head's cut off. That won't be good. Head's cut off. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gamey things. I am back again today with another pumped up Kickstarter. And today's pumped up Kickstarter is on Brutus from Old Games, who very kindly sponsored this video. This game will be coming to Kickstarter soon. All the links, information, everything you need to know will be in the description below, so make sure you check it out if you figure out that you're interested in this game. Now, a couple of things. Number one, this is a prototype, okay? Nikki on the back, super prototype. So everything that you see is subject to change. I do not have all of the cards that come in the game. I have enough to do a little bit of a demo. As per usual with my preview videos, I am going to give you a little bit of an overview of the game, show you kind of how it works, and then we'll talk about whether or not this game is a good fit for you to help you make an informed buying decision, which we love to see. So without further ado, let's dive into that overview. Here we go. All right, friends, we're back. Let's talk about Brutus. Now, in Brutus, you bet on gladiator battles by playing mighty warriors, powerful demigods, and unlucky bystanders. You must save your sesterces while making your opponents lose theirs, and the game will end when all other players are bankrupt or when Brutus is drawn, triggering the final. The final is played until only one remains standing. But what does any of that mean? I'm very glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at how the game plays. Now, before we dive in, I would like to kind of take a look at the different types of cards that you are going to encounter in this game. This is primarily a card-based game. The first kind of card that you are going to encounter is gladiator cards. Now, gladiator cards represent the warriors that will fight in the arena. We have 25 gladiator cards numbered 1 to 25, and one special challenger card worth either 0 or 25 at your discretion. So this here is what the gladiator cards will look like. There's all different art on them, and once again, you'll notice some of these say playtest because this is a prototype copy of the game. Lots of different cards here. Next up, we have Lannisty cards. Now, these represent the leader of the Ludus house, each with its own special ability. So, at the beginning of the game, everybody is going to get 2 Lannisty cards, and they're going to choose one to put in front of them. So, as an example, this is the one that I'll have in front of me, Erasmus. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to be pronouncing so many words wrong because I don't know Latin. It just is what it is. So as an example, mine is Erasmus. Whenever you win a fight, you can choose who starts the next fight. Okay, so everyone's going to have one of those in front of them. And finally, organizer cards, which represent the famous figures who organize the games for their own amusement. Now, these figures will dictate the number of gladiators to be drawn at the beginning of each round, and they will also add a rule until the next organizer is drawn. So the organizer cards are up here. Right now, we have Rhea, the weakest gladiators win the fight. So that is the rule, and the number that you're going to see up in the top corner is the number of gladiator cards that will be dealt out to players. Okay, so those are the 3 types of cards that you're going to encounter in the game. Now let's get into gameplay. So for the purposes of today's example, I have set up a 3-player game. let's start with Gladiator Season. Now this will consist of numerous tournaments, each beginning by drawing an organizer, which you'll remember will set a special rule for that tournament. And then we're gonna go into 5 different phases. So the phases are gladiator picking, betting phase, use of powers phase, fight, and resolution phase. All right, gladiator picking consists of distributing gladiator cards according to the organizer's instructions. So you'll see here, this organizer is telling us that each player will receive 2 gladiator cards. So we're gonna deal those out to each of the players. Then we're gonna go into the betting phase. Now starting with the player with the totem, so this will be the first player marker. At the beginning of the game, it's gonna go to the youngest player, or you can choose whatever method you like to choose for first player. So in this scenario, I'll be the youngest player, okay? Because I'm definitely younger than Jeff. And if that's the third person, we can't say Matt because he's younger than me. So I'm younger than Zach. So we're playing today with Jeff and Zach, basically. So starting with the player with the totem, everyone will bet on the number of victories they expect to win this round. And now you can choose between 0 and the max number of cards in hand. So in our example, I could either bet to win 0 or 2 because I have 2 cards in my hand. And you're going to show this number by using your die. So I might say, I don't think I'm going to win any. So I'm going to put it on the 0. Then we'll go into the use of powers phase. Now in turn, once again, starting with the player with the totem, you'll use the abilities of your Lannisty cards. So my ability, just so you know, is whenever you win a fight, you can choose who starts the next fight. Let's look at the other players' Lannisty cards just for some more examples. So for Jeff, who's going to be over here, he has Cornelius. Oh, Cornelius has a black cat. Cute. After all bets are placed, if you bet 2 or 3, you can make an opponent's bet match yours. Ooh. I made him an offer he couldn't refuse is the flavor text. I didn't look at their cards. Let's just say Jeff bet 2. So after bets are placed, so Matt also needs to place his bet. So let's just see here. He has Krathus. All right, this is Zach, because Matt's younger than me. Whenever you lose 1 or more sesterces, that's one, I'm gonna have a problem with that word, sesterces, an opponent of your choice loses 1 sesterce. I will have my revenge. Ooh, oof. He might also say that he's gonna win none. So if we are going into the use abilities phase, my ability is only after I win a fight. Zach's ability is only after he loses a sesterce, money, but Jeff, he can trigger his in this phase. After all bets are placed, if you bet 2 or 3, which he did, you can make an opponent's bet match yours. So he might want to say, well, let's make Zach's bet match mine. Okay, so that's how he uses his ability. Then we fight. Starting with the totem player, each player will place a gladiator card face up in the arena. The player with the most powerful fighter will win the battle and will get to begin the next one. You'll continue doing this until players have no cards left, okay? So let's do an example here of a round. Now I am the totem player, so I might want to play this 4, okay? So then Zach is going to play a 2, and Jeff will play a 9, all right? So in this instance, Jeff would have won 1 fight. This is Jamie from the future. I'm just cutting in to say I didn't follow the rule on this card during my example. So for the whole round, the weakest gladiators would have won the fight. Okay, so now we're going to continue because we still have 1 card. Because Jeff won that fight, he would play first. So he's gonna go, I will play out my 8, and Zach will play out his 3. So once again, Jeff had the highest card, he will win. So he has won 2, I've won 0, Zach has won 0. Finally, we're going to go into the resolution phase, and in this phase, players will calculate the difference between their bets and their actual wins, and then they're going to lose their sesterces equal to the difference. Okay, so let's do that. Now, Jeff isn't going to lose anything because he got exactly what he wanted. I also am not going to lose anything because I bet 0 and I won 0. But Zach, on the other hand, he bet 2 and he didn't win any. So he's going to lose 2 of his sesterces. But let's just remember his special power. Whenever you lose 1 or more, an opponent of your choice loses 1. He's probably going to want to get some revenge on Jeff because he's the reason that he lost those. So Jeff will also lose 1. So at this point, Jeff is down to 4, I still have 5, and Zach's down to 3. Then we're going to pass the totem to the next player, so I'd pass it over to Zach, reveal a new organizer card, and begin the next round. When the organizer Brutus is revealed, it will trigger the final. Now the previous phases are no longer useful and Lannister abilities are deactivated. During the final, each player will draw a card from the gladiator pile without looking at it, and they will place it on their forehead. So other players can see, all right, but you can't. I can because there's a monitor in front of me, but typically playing a board game, you won't have that. Now players are going to bet as quickly as possible. Thumbs up if they think their fighter wins the battle, thumbs down if they think they lose. So if I think I'm going to win, if I think I'm going to lose, we're doing this. Do you get it? Because it's like Caesar. Oh, do they live or do they die? Ha ha ha. All right, so you have to be quick. So you got to look around and see what everybody else has. You don't know what you've got, but maybe watch the faces of other people. Now I might just, for the heck of it, we'll just give each of these guys a card. And let's say that obviously I would be able to see them. Holy. So in this instance, if I were to see that Jeff had an 18 and Zach had a 20, I'd probably want to say that I'm going to lose, knowing the cards only go up to 25. So I would do this, all right? Now, Jeff is given a thumbs up because he's confident he's going to win. Zach's giving a thumbs down because he's not confident, all right? So I thumbs down, Zach thumbs down, Jeff thumbs up. Each mistake will cost you a sesterce. If all players have bet correctly, the last player to place their bet is going to lose 1, all right? So let's just continue on with this example. We've all placed our bets, right? So now let's look. I had a 17, Jeff had an 18, and Zach had a 20. So we'll start with Zach. Zach thought that he was going to lose, but he actually won. Right? So not everybody was correct in this situation because already somebody was not correct. I bet correctly, not going to lose anything. Zach won, but he didn't bet correctly, so he's going to lose 1. Jeff said he was going to win, but he didn't, so he is going to lose 1. You are going to continue doing this until only one person remains standing, and that player will be the winner. So that is Brutus. Now let's talk about who is this game for. Now, this game is for fans of trick-taking and some silly fun. This is kind of a very basic way to do trick-taking. In other words, there's no suits and different things like that. So realistically, if you are new to trick-taking and you're worried like, oh, I don't really know how that works, I wouldn't be so concerned about this because you're really just looking for that higher number and you just want to have the higher number in comparison to everybody else. All right, this is easy to learn, quick to play, and a game that anyone can enjoy, especially for fans of Gladiator. There are also hidden Easter eggs all over the cards that you can have fun looking for. So I'm not super familiar with Gladiator and this theme. However, Jeff is, so I'm sure that the black cat here with Cornelius is probably significant. So different things like that. You can obviously in the final game look for those Easter eggs. This game is more than a traditional kind of trick-taking game. There are special abilities to consider. So like all the Lannister cards have their own special abilities that can give you some kind of an edge. And of course, the final where you are blind bidding to determine your fate, which is where you're going to get some of the laughs from your game group. This game definitely plays best with a ruckus group and a full player count. So currently the game plays up to 4 for the version that I have. On the Kickstarter, there's going to be one that plays for 5, and I think one of the stretch goals might even be to play with 6 players. This definitely gets a little bit silly and funny and crazy when everybody has a card stuck to their head and they're very quickly doing this because, you know, it's just silly and it's just silly fun. So if that's something that you enjoy, if you like card games, if you enjoy the theme, any of that, this could be a great game for you. Now, like I said, if you're interested in Brutus, it's going to be on Kickstarter. So I'm going to have all the links, everything that you need to know in the description below. As per usual, make sure that you read reviews, watch other content to make sure this is a good fit for you. But that is everything that I have for you today in this preview. Now, if you're interested in buying board games, remember, for Brutus, we're going to Kickstarter. That's where you gotta go. Other board games that are currently available you can get at your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that's the Boardroom Game Cafe. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. We hope to see you again soon. And now, I'll say goodbye. Goodbye. Off with her head. Not that kind of game. Kind of is, though, a little bit. My head's still cut off. What the heck? There. I'll just lower myself down and nobody will know the difference. Recording, recording, recording. Excusez-moi. Brutus. I need to learn how to say a word. How do you say Says terses. I'm not going to remember that. Well, you could tell Jamie shuffled these because they're all the same color. Oopsies. Boop, boop, boop. Each mistake will cost you a sesterce. This game definitely... I bit my tongue.